Hello and welcome back to the Skippers Review Podcast, episode 209, brought to you by Chinook Ceadery. Remember to use our discount code, the Skippers View, to get 10% off the website for any sunflower seed needs. I'm Brett. That's Hagen. Last thing I want to talk about before we jump right into the Yankees Red Sox, because that's live and we want to talk about it, is check out Tyler's new website that he's got on the website. Dean put together a pretty awesome analytics website. I'm going to continue to plug that here on the podcast for our few listeners, just so that way people know to go check it out, because the only way it's going to get out there is word of mouth and social media push. So we want that to grow. It's an awesome interactive site. Needless to say, though, Hagen, how was your weekend?
It was good. I'm used to when the Mets go to Atlanta, it's usually the House of Horrors there, and you just expect to get swept. Never goes good when they go down there. So going down to Atlanta and getting a series win, it feels great too, especially to just know the Mets are a better team than the Braves are right now at this point.
Yeah. Right on. Absolutely. So let's start with the Yankees Red Sox. They're playing right now, 4-game series, pivotal series, as both teams are fighting not only for wild card spots, they do have a chance at the division. Right now, Boston's 4.5 games back. Yankees are 6 games back of Toronto. The Red Sox have taken it to the Yankees this series so far. They've won the first 3 games, and it's been quite honestly embarrassing as a Yankees fan. The Yankees, I'll let you go first because I'm going to rant a little bit about this one. I know you didn't catch up on this series particularly too much. And it didn't mean to you as much as Dean and I. But what are your initial thoughts on the Yanks Red Sox? Just on the best the Yankees could do is lose the series 1-3 games.
I mean, the clear takeaway is that the Boston Red Sox just own the Yankees at this point in time. I mean, the Yankees just can't seem to shake the Red Sox off of them right now. I mean, after this series now, they have a game and a half lead on them. Obviously, if the Yankees hold this lead tonight, throw it back a little bit less. But the Red Sox just looked like just so superior to the Yankees in this series. I mean, the game yesterday was awful for the Yankees. It just, a lot of the Yankee stuff, too, it almost felt like last year in the World Series where you kind of wonder, they have a good record, but then you start to see them run the bases, play defense. They can't make simple plays. And you just start to wonder, how does this team have this record? Like, this is not a good baseball team. Yes, they have, if they don't hit 5 home runs a game, they're not going to do this because we all know this offense, it could for sure win a World Series like that. We know they had the pitching to do it. This team can't play defense that well. I mean, you have Anthony Volpe, who's not been great this year. He has not been great since 2023, quite frankly. He's one of the highest in errors in all of baseball this year. He's supposed to be a great defender, too. So you just don't have any solid fundamental baseball in this team. And I think it's just hard, and it just kind of blows my mind that you're having major league players that are making millions of dollars who can't make simple plays or even make smart base running decisions.
Hagen, I love that that's what your takeaway is, because I'm going to go right in on Volpe here. So for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure it's only a few, the Gold Glove Award is given to the best defensive player at their position for that year, and both the AL and NL get one. So if you win one, you are arguably one of the top 2 defenders at the position in the league. Now, that being said, Anthony Volpe won a Gold Glove back in 2003. So we're 2 years removed from him winning a Gold Glove, the best defender at his position. Dude, I saw Anthony Volpe on Friday night. I shit you not. There was a man on second. I don't recall if there was either 1 out or 0 outs. It was not a forced play, though. No one's on first, man on second. Ground ball to Volpe. The guy made a little hesitant jump to go to third, and Volpe just threw a bad throw to second where no one was on the bag in order to make a tag because it's not a force. Instead of just freezing the runner like a high school shortstop would do and throw it to first. It was ridiculous. And I'm in a bar, we were at a rehearsal dinner, my girlfriend and I were both watching this game, bunch of Red Sox fans around us. It was embarrassing to watch the Yankees play baseball like that. It's that is high school level knowledge of how to play defense. And I know a lot easier said than done. I'm just some chubby guy talking behind a mic over here. I get that. I'm not ignorant to that fact. But his confidence is shot, and that's what I'm getting at. You just said it earlier. I'm going to look up how many errors he actually does have on the year. I think he had last year 11 or 14. He was at 17 last time I checked. So he's already surpassed the amount of errors that he made last year when he was already starting to regress from that defensive, prowess that we thought in 2023 was it. But it's not a run scoring issue. The Yankees, I think, are second in runs scored this year. It's not a scoring issue. It's simply it's I don't know, man. It's just so hard to watch these Yankees. But actually, sorry, they're third in runs scored. They're just 2 behind the Brewers and about 12 behind the Dodgers. The Yankees, I feel like they're poorly coached and managed. I think that's what it comes down to.
I mean, like you said too, I mean, there's things where you feel like, oh, I'm just the guy on the podcast here. I can be easily just scream with these guys, but it's one thing to say when you're guy, how can I hit this pitch or whatever. But it's one thing when you just can't play fundamental baseball and you can't make the simple plays that you're making in high school and you're getting paid millions of dollars to do so. That's the type of stuff where I'm going to start getting frustrated with players here. When you're making mental mistakes on the base pass. The Jazz Chisholm one was 3 weeks ago when he just got picked off at second because he was just being an idiot. It was just he's had a few getting picked offs. He's had a few just weird base running things this year. That's like the first base coach, third base coach. You guys got to be helping those guys out there. Obviously, I don't know if that's something that they're not telling the players, if they're not relaying it right, if the players aren't listening to them. Obviously, I don't know that, but there's something on there. You should not be having base running issues if you're in the major leagues.
Dude, that's it. It's bottom line. They just make mistakes that good teams don't make. That's the bottom line about what's going on with these Yankees team. And read between the lines there, interpret as you want. It's not a unknown. The Yankees have talent. And anyone who argues that fact, you're wrong. They have talent. Stanton, playoffs last year, banged. The injury issues are not a thing anymore. Well, they are, and knock on wood. But what I'm saying is, Stanton, he's hot as hell right now. He's one of the hottest players in baseball. Playoffs last year, I know he missed a ton of games due to injuries, but when he's on the field, he is a stud. Aaron Judge, I don't even need to talk about him. Cody Bellinger's having a fantastic year. Jason's been solid, and he's 21 years old. Ben Rice has had a phenomenal year for what the expectation of Ben Rice, what Yankee fans thought they were going to get out of him this year. Wells, sure, down year, especially for coming third in Rookie of the Year last year for the Yanks. They have talent. They have talent. That's the bottom line. And there's got to be a mix-up. All right, we'll go into the series a little bit. Red Sox, right before the series started, actually, they called up outfield prospect Jahangston Garcia. And if I mispronounce that, I apologize. His name is very hard to pronounce, and the reason why, because there's so many letters in it, and that's why he's earned the nickname The Password. Arguably, best nickname besides Big Dumper in the MLB right now. It's up there.
I gotta say, it's gotta be at least a top 3 nickname in all of baseball. The Password, that's up there. I thought Big Christmas was good when he first came up too, but I think this takes the cake here.
I just wish it could be. I know it's The Password. Nicknames are tough when it's 2 names. I guess Big Dumper works, but the something remember Kevin Durant was trying to go by the Servant or the Serpent or whatever. It was he gave it to himself. It's get out of here, dude. You can't do that. But he's a 22-year-old listed as Boston's number 3 prospect, and he's the number 77 overall prospect via MLB.com. So hopefully we see some bang out of him, or at least I guess, Boston fans are hoping for that. I am not, particularly. I'm not rooting against the kid, but I'm not rooting for him. He's got 2 walks. He's 0 for 4, according to the stats. I can pull it real quick. I'm sure he'll be fine. It's early. I'll say this. He also, a little side note, signed for $350K as an international free agent back in 2019. This guy's just getting his role now, 6 years later, which is crazy. It's also crazy that 2019 was 6 years ago. Let's talk about Cal Raleigh. Hagen, did you get I didn't even see the highlight reel from this yet. I'm going to probably look it up after the episode. Raquel Raleigh hit 2 bombs in the same game, giving him numbers 48 and 49. And for those who don't know what that means we have a new all-time single-season home run leader for the catcher position. He surpasses Salvador Perez's 48. Hagen, what are your thoughts on Cal Raleigh?
My first takeaway I had when I saw that he actually did this, where I think we've all expected him to break this for a few months now. We all kind of saw this coming. But when I saw that he hit 48 and 49, I kind of sat there for a minute and I really thought, Cal Raleigh really might win the MVP this year. I have been all aboard the Aaron Judge MVP train this entire year. This was the first time I really felt some shift momentum to Cal Raleigh because I'm realizing that we are witnessing a historic catcher season. He's already at 7 WAR right now because of the Judge slowing down to what he started off this year. The gap's only .4 WAR, and that's before today's games were put in too, so that's going to be closer tomorrow. If it's close, he's playing catcher pretty much every single day. Obviously, yeah, it's not platinum glove level like it was last year, but he's still an above average catcher this year, and he's going to hit. It's not even the end of August yet. It's not even September. There's still 35 games left in the season, and he has the most home runs ever for a catcher. He's going to break the record by 10. It's just crazy. Cal Raleigh, he genuinely has a shot. He genuinely might win the MVP this year.
I'm actually with you now. I think that when we discussed this and we were talking about Aaron Judge, what he's got to do to surpass him in the Vegas numbers. If Judge, he's obviously had a little bit of injury going on. If he's not able to put up the historic numbers that he kind of did last year, I think the voters are going to sway to Cal Raleigh. His team right now, when you look at the standings, the Mariners are in second place. They're 2 games back on Houston. They have a chance to win their division. And a large part of that is going to be because of Cal Raleigh, who's doing historic things. So I think it's really unfair to discount Raleigh totally out at this point. I know that's not even good wording. It should be he should definitely be more consideration across, voters is what I should say. Cal Raleigh's a dog, though.
Yeah, he is really a dog this year. It's going to be interesting, too, because obviously he's going to have the home runs over Judge here, but you also just look at, Aaron Judge is beating him by around 80 points in batting average, 90 points in on-base percentage. He's slugging almost 200 points higher than him. It's you just look at the slash lines alone, and it shouldn't even be a conversation. But then you're taking into fact he's a catcher. So this is a very tough one for me, where I'm wow, this is a great season by Cal Raleigh. You have to definitely consider this if you're a voter here. But then you just look at Judge's numbers, and you say, how do you not vote for a guy who has an OPS over 1,000, who is 96% better than the league average hitter right now? That's how good he is. He's got a 196 WRC plus for Aaron Judge. Cal Raleigh's got 156. It's just genuinely insane how good Aaron Judge has been this year.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild. Absolutely wild. Just a little update. We're top 7 of the Yankees. Red Sox right now 5-2. Man on first. Red Sox are starting to put some runs on the board for anyone listening. So one quick thing I want to talk about the errors again. Back to Volpe, what you said. Volpe's second in the league with 16, only behind Ellie De La Cruz with 18. Fun fact for you Yankee fans listening out there. Jazz Chisholm is third in the league with 15 errors. And then if you look at, there's a bunch of guys tied with 7, 8, and 9 errors, but it's a 37-way tie. Guess who's also has 9 and 8 errors in those, all those players? Jose Caballero and Ryan McMahon. 2 guys they just traded for when you knew you had defensive issues. Isn't that wild?
That actually.
So the Yankees have 4 guys in the top 37 players in all of baseball in errors right now. That's 1.1 per team, and we got 4 of them on average. If you just look at it, there's 30 teams, and it's
and the Yankees definitely have the worst errors of them all. Too. Obviously, an error is an error. Obviously, some mean more than others, but just visually, I feel like the Yankees have way worse errors than other teams. Granted, the Yankees are going to be kind of when they make a mistake, it's going to be shown a lot more mainstream than if the Reds made a mistake per se. But the Yankees have so many. Like the one last night where Volpe just threw it over the dude's head at first. That one was bad.
Yeah, it was so bad. But dude, as always, it's so funny. I always get a side team text, but it's about the episodes. So I gotta respond to it as we're going live and just like something. Um, but let's talk some. This should have been the injury and segment for us when we cover injuries and news. We're gonna talk about this now because I think this is a game changing injury. So Zach Wheeler, as many of you know, blood clot, and we talked about it on our last episode really quick. I mentioned I thought he already had the surgery. Turns out I don't think he's had it yet, but he's in line to get thoracic outlet surgery. His season is done. Hagen, does this knock the Phillies out of World Series contention? I think Zach Wheeler and playoff Zach Wheeler is that big of a hit to Philly where it actually might be detrimental, a fatal blow, I guess, to their rotation.
Yeah, first and foremost, prayers for Zach Wheeler because this is just an awful scenario. I mean, for a guy who said he was going to retire in a couple of years, was looking like it was going to come down to him and Skeens on if he was going to get his first career Cy Young this year. And a guy that if he doesn't finish career with the Cy Young, it's going to feel weird because he was the most. He feels like he's been top 3 pitcher in baseball the last 5 years now, and he doesn't have anything to show for it really. So, prayers up for him. Hopefully he can come back. I think they said 6 to 8 months to come back. So let's hoping everything go all right. Come back and go after another shot the Cy Young next year. So hopefully he does that. But Philly, you do have to take him down a little bit on their contender list because I think even the sportsbooks odds were showing it that it was pretty heavy favorite for the Dodgers still, and then the Phillies were right there too. Then there was a big gap. So obviously not as much because Wheeler, if you're taking one pitcher you don't want to face in the playoffs, it's Wheeler at the bank. That's the number one thing you do not want to face. Because the Phillies, the bank already gets rocketed in October, and Zach Wheeler is the best postseason pitcher. You could make the case forever if you wanted to do that. He has enough starts to do so, I think. So you have to view them a little bit differently now, but I still really like Philly, man. I know it's hard when you don't have a Wheeler in there, but if Luzardo could step up a little bit, if Nola can show up a little bit better, just not be awful like he has been, you still have Christopher Sanchez, who's going to take second to that Cy Young voting. You still have Christopher Sanchez, who's top 5 pitcher, top 4 pitcher in baseball this year, who's still going to be starting game 1 for you, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah, and I know he's been great. I just don't. I don't know. Christopher Sanchez just doesn't strike the fear in me that Zach Wheeler does, and that's where I'm like, oh well, a good team they can get hits off Christopher Sanchez versus I'm more confident Zach Wheeler shut down a good team. But needless to say, there's a reason for stats out there like that. I'm sure we could pull it up, but I'm not going to do that live. Just want to talk about the impact this is going to have on Philly. Hagen obviously is looking at the half glass full. I'm going half glass empty here. Sucks for Philly. Sucks for Philly. Let's talk about Clayton Kershaw. Got the jersey in the background. Hagen, I want your thoughts on Kershaw. He's 4-0 in August. So Kershaw, his last 4 starts, obviously he's got 4 wins. He has let's look at this. He's got 13 strikeouts across his last 4 games. It's not that many, but he's keeping the contact low. And he's got 3 quality starts, meaning he's gone north of 6 innings in 3 out of the 4 of these wins. Is Kershaw good enough to be the 2 starter for LA going into the playoffs? Or is that out of the question at this point with Yamamoto, Snell, and hopefully some others that are going to return? They just have so many guys on the IL. I can't even keep up with them.
I mean, it's so hard for the Dodgers to even look ahead a week because it just seems like all these guys and new guys get hurt. They're coming off the injured list every single week with this team now. But if everyone's healthy of the guys that are there now, I don't think Kershaw's starting a playoff game. But I am curious to see what would happen because we all know he has those postseason struggles in his career, especially the last time I believe was the Diamondbacks. I remember him against them where he had that blow up start in that series in 2023, I believe. But this is going to be – it's crazy what Clayton Kershaw is doing right now. I mean, this guy's 37 years old. He's been in the league since 2008. And in 83 innings, he has a 3.13 ERA. Like the dude's throwing 89 miles an hour. His stuff is just so diminished compared to what it used to be. This guy was the best pitcher alive. He won an MVP over 10 years ago, and he's still doing this. It's genuinely insane. Clayton Kershaw is probably the best left-handed pitcher of all time, and he's still the longevity on this is actually crazy. I know he struggled a little bit last year, but if you take it last year out of it, that's really his only bad year he's really had, and that still was a 4-5 and only 30 innings, which at 36-year-old Clayton Kershaw, you would still probably take that. So it's crazy to see what he's doing.
Don't let Sandy Koufax hear you. But I agree. Kershaw is arguably the best left-handed pitcher that's ever played the game of baseball. I'm not getting into a huge debate on that one. Yeah, but Glasnow, Yamamoto, Kershaw, Snell. Kershaw has a a very legitimate case to be called their number 2 starter come playoff time. Just based off health, based off the way he's been pitching. Glasnow in his last 4 starts, he's got a couple 8 strikeout games. So yeah, he's not getting quality starts or wins, but Glasnow's right there too. The Dodgers are coming. We all knew it was happening. They are starting to assemble. Like, Dodgers assemble.
Which is
Sorry, that's the most nerdy thing I've ever. That was the most nerdy thing I've ever said on this show, by the way.
it, it's just
What were
crazy
you gonna
to
say?
see the Dodgers. It's crazy to see the Dodgers get back into this because we all knew it was coming. I mean, I've been saying it for months on this show now that they're just getting ready for October, but they've played at a 95 loss pace for about 2 months, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and actually, I think this is a really good thing I'm going to mention Shane Bieber's start real quick, and then we'll talk about the Dodgers and their route right here. So to the playoffs. So Shane Bieber, real quick, for anyone who doesn't know, massive surgery. I believe it was Tommy John. Came back, first start for Toronto. The dude goes 6 innings, gets the W, 9 strikeouts, 1.5 ERA, .33 WHIP. Get out of here, dude. Like, this is why he's a Cy Young winner. Dude, did you get to tune into the start at all, or no? Did you just see the highlights?
Those highlights were absolutely electric. He was dotting the corner. It looked like prime Shea Bieber. It was beautiful.
I like I was very happy and mad because I was mad at myself because I doubted him. I was like, oh, injury, maybe don't start him in fantasy. Dude shoves. And I'm like, God. But I'm happy for him. I needed him in fantasy though. But now it's good for my team for the rest of the season. I know that he's still got it. So easy plug and play now. Let's talk one last thing before we talk about the schedule notes for the rest of the year. So right now, this is according to Fangraphs, I saw this. The Pirates are in danger of becoming the first American League or National League team since the start of the 20th century to finish the season without a single hitter producing at a league average level or better. Hagen, what are your initial thoughts when I state that fact?
I think that is absolutely hilarious. And I honestly, it sounds awful, but I love hearing that. I love hearing that because it tells you to spend some damn money on your team and Ben Jerrington to step his ass out because he's doing an awful job the last couple of years with this offense acquisitions. I mean, we talked about, remember how bad Tommy Pham was for the first half of the season? He really took him to the last 3 weeks or so to really start, 3 weeks before the deadline, to start turning into a good hitter. He's 2% above league average and he's the best hitter on this team. Spencer Horwitz is the second best hitter on this team. This is, I mean, the guy they paying Brian Reynolds. He's the 5th best hitter on this team. This team is O'Neal Cruz too. Honestly, O'Neal Cruz has been pretty disappointing, honestly, this year. I know I wasn't really big on his hype train. I thought he was getting a little too much hype. Obviously, he has insane tools and he's a very fun player to watch. But he's had a lot of issues too. He's just this
Dude,
offense is just putrid.
He's not even hitting his weight, O'Neal Cruz. He's not even hitting within 30 points of his weight right now. I know he's skinny, but he's 240 pounds. He's not hitting 240. And we talk about O'Neal Cruz like he is a stat darling. When I just say stat darling, he's a stats darling, sorry, or a data darling, whatever you want to call it. He 100 240 is his weight, and he's hitting 207 on the season with a 304 OBP. That is like Isaiah Connor-Falefa, Brian Reynolds, and O'Neal Cruz for them. 304 OBP, 304, 303. Like, that's bad. That's their top three hitters, and they barely get on base more than 30% of the time.
I mean,
That's so.
it's so bad for him that Joey Bart has been a better hitter than him this year. Leo Verdugo, I've never even heard that name in my life, and he's been a better hitter than O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates this year.
Yeah, it's bad. Now, so I did want to talk about this before we talk about news, injuries, and stuff. So, Will Leach put a really cool article together, ranking and talking about contenders with the easiest and toughest schedules remaining. This is on MLB.com, so go check it out. The things that I noticed with the three contenders with the easier path, the Yankees have the easiest strength of schedule moving forward. And their strength of schedule comes against a 482 win percentage. And that's worst in the league. So the Yankees, the Cubs are 29th with a 43. And then the Padres are 28th. So we have three really, really relevant teams that we've been talking about all year who've been struggling as of late. Cubs, Cubs, I don't know how much struggling. They also had the Brewers who just capped a 14-game win streak. So same division. I understand why they lost some ground. Padres, we knew they were going to be, dealing with Dodgers, and the NL West has been solid all year. Finally, the Padres, I think that their, acquisitions here at the deadline are really going to start paying some dividends for them. And then if you look at the harder path, you got the Reds, who have the third hardest remaining schedule, the Red Sox, who have the fifth, and the Phillies with the ninth. I think that this could not come at a worse time for Philly and Boston. I know it's the end of the season, but it's like, Boston's fighting. Obviously, they're kicking the shit out of the Yankees, so kudos to them on this series. But, we just talked about Philly earlier about their rotational woes. And the Reds, they're not really, I think, situated right now. Clearly, they're not in the playoff hunt. They're third in their division. And I'll check where they are in the wild card right now in the National League. They're the fifth team in the wild card. So, should we play some futures on the Reds not making the playoffs? Like, how do you think about baseball and strength of schedule? Do you think it matters as much as other sports, or do you think baseball is way more random and it's just whoever gets hot?
It's definitely something that I take into account when I'm looking at this rest of the season. But I think a lot of fans will look at it and they'll be like, I know even Mets fans were doing it about like a month ago when the Mets had the hardest schedule left, and they were like, "Oh, we're screwed. We're do this. We play bad baseball." But I think it's more just, are you playing good baseball or not? Because obviously, like a team like the Red Sox and the Phillies, like the way I look at it for them is more of, if you're just doing what you can do every single day in and day out, and you know you're one of the best teams in baseball, you can win any game. You can. Baseball is there's a lot of variance in baseball too. There's a reason why the Colorado Rockies could beat the Los Angeles Dodgers and beat them by 10 any given night. It's just baseball. So stuff like that just happens every once in a while. So I think the schedule, I think it's something to kind of take into account here, but especially a situation like, I think a good way to look at it would be like for the Reds, where it's like they have a tough schedule down the road here, especially a series of the Mets coming up too, where they're going to have to jump them in the wild card standings. So like those are the ones where I think you can pay attention to, or more of these wild card teams. But I think these good teams, any of these top, 5 to 6 teams in all of baseball, I don't really care as much for their strength of schedule, because they're going to be good. It just depends, are you playing good or are you playing bad at the moment?
Yeah, and like I'll just talk about Boston, for instance. I know them a little bit better than I know the Reds or like the Padres. Boston has Dustin May that he's got in the trade deadline. Walker Buehler is very talented, and he has not been great this year. Who knows what happens? And they're both Dodger teammates. Maybe the morale, them all being there, the Roman Anthony, what was I gonna say? The Roman Anthony train is rolling right now. Who knows? Who knows? Boston might pick up steam and clean clock everyone. And you're absolutely right. Baseball is weird like that. Totally could be. Strength of schedule is not like. For instance, like I could talk about Purdue football. Look at their football strength of schedule. They're never going to win. They play like their home games this year. Like they have like Michigan, and then they have to like Ohio State or something like that, and then they have to go to like They play USC at home. They're not going to win, but it's not baseball. Baseball, you can win against anyone. That's it for me before we jump into the injuries and kind of updates with some players. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about in this section?
Just a quick plug to Nolan McLean. This dude is the real deal here. I mean, this guy is. There hasn't been too much excitement to turn on a Mets games the last 2 months, ever since June 13th. I don't remember the last time I've ever been excited to really watch a Mets game, except for the Nolan McLean starts. Those are really the only games that I circle that I have to watch.
I don't know if Riverside just cut out on us, but I'm going to keep going. And then if Hagen comes on, we'll keep moving. So a couple injuries that happened this week. Jackson Merrill, he went to the IL with a left ankle sprain. Marcus Semien, he's now in the 10-day IL with a left foot contusion. This will be the first time that he's played less than 159 games in a full season for the first time since 2017. New York Mets, they had Frankie Montas go on the IL for a significant UCL injury in his right elbow. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it could lead to Tommy John. It might give us some explanation about the 6.28 ERA and the 5.31 FIP in 9 games this year. Hagen, any big thoughts on Montas?
Obviously, it just kind of sucked because it was one of those guys where the signing was just, Mets fans already hated him, so you saw a lot of Mets fans celebrating over it, which I thought was pathetic, honestly, to be celebrating over a guy getting injured. I think that's just foul behavior by fans. But I know his issue in the past has been staying healthy, and when he has stayed healthy, like we saw a little bit last year with the Brewers, he's great. And he can strike. He can be a great strikeout pitcher too. He can be a very good pitcher for you. But the issue was the health. And be quite honest, Suk, Frankie Montas was not good this year. I was talking to OC Baseball about this the other day, where I was like, all right, man, you gotta admit here that Frankie Montas was not good this year. And he got to the point where you wanted to DFA him, but it was hard because then he has his player option for next year. So it would suck if he has to get Tommy John, and then you have to just pay him $17 million to not play next year. That would kind of suck for the Mets there, but hopefully that's not going to be the case here.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get Tommy John. That would blow. Houston, they activated JP France from the 60-day IL. This happened on Thursday. They optioned him to AAA. Obviously, he's got to rehab a little bit. France hasn't pitched in a single big league game since last July after going surgery to repair a torn right shoulder capsule. Sounds super painful. Boston's Willie Abreu was placed on the 10-day IL with a right calf strain. Minnesota's ace, Pablo Lopez, made his first rehab start with St. Paul on Thursday. He's been out since June with a strained muscle in his right shoulder. So we don't know. Right now, his return to the big league team is not known. So we'll keep eyes on that. Baltimore's Adley Rutschman, who's had a bad season. He went on the 10-day IL with a left oblique strain. His slash line, 227, 310, 373. Hagen, is Adley Rutschman having a bad year? Is he cooked?
I was talking about this about a month ago, too, where it's ever since the last 2 seasons, honestly, I think it's around 230 games now. Adley Rutschman has been an average baseball player. He's been average by defensive value, by offense value. He sits right around league average hitter and league average defensively for the last 2 seasons, around 230 games, I believe. So it's just kind of crazy. I know now Adley Rutschman's going. The Orioles are normally going pretty well, so maybe that's the key. I know he's kind of like a Lindor in the sense where it feels like he's kind of the cog in the machine there. With Adley Rutschman swinging the bat well, the offense is all rolling there. That's how it feels, and he really hasn't been. He's been, for Adley Rutschman standards, what we expect him to be, the best catcher in baseball. He has not been good for 2 years now.
Which really makes me upset because I bought a lot of his rookie cards. Probably bad decision. But one last take from me. I thought this was super interesting. We're right now just at almost at the 35-minute mark, so we're having a great timing episode today, Hagen. And if you guys didn't notice, we're starting to cut down the episode sizes, but Hagen and I are going 3 times a week now. So for those listening, definitely let us know if you have any suggestions how we're running the podcast. If you want me to be funnier, I could do that. If you want Hagen to talk more, let us know. Obviously, I know Dean wants you to talk more. But my last take of the week here, I saw in his 532nd career game, Alejandro Kirk finally stole his first bag. Kudos to Mr. Kirk. From one person who's slow, I get it. I'm sure that was a huge thing for him. And when he did steal the bag, he had to have known that it was his first bag that he's ever stolen in the major leagues. And just like that relief and oh, I could do this. There was no throw. It was a no throw. Did you see that?
I know once you almost get to the point where the pitchers know too. This guy, there's no shot he's running, so you almost get those free bags in there.
Clearly not free bags, plural. It's free bag. He's only done it once. No, but I get what you're saying. And why not? He should test more, especially it was a no throw situation. He's going to catch people sleeping. But kudos to him. Hagen, anything else from you before we close out the episode?
No, just congratulations to Alejandro Kirk. He's definitely not the fastest guy, but I will say I do love watching Alejandro Kirk run.
It's always, dude, especially when you see the bigger guys pick up some steam, in the NFL too. It's it's kind of nice, seeing a big guy run. It's like watching a dog walk on his hind legs. It's just something weird. You don't see it every day. But that's it for me. Thank you for listening. Follow us on social media. Please go and check the website for merch. We're starting to push that a little bit more. We don't do ads, people. We don't do ads. We're not going to do that. Dean's big against ads. Help us writers, though, and us podcasters make a little money for all of our efforts here. We're not asking for much, just a little. Outside of that, read any of the articles that are posted this week. I saw Grant had a good one on Kevin McGonigal, arguably the number one prospect in baseball. He might be number one ranked, depending on the outlet. I'm not sure right now in the prospect rankings. But that looked interesting. And then, Hagen, anything from you? Any announcements?
Got about 30 games left in the season, so we're about to hit the best stretch of baseball here down the season here. Obviously, a lot of pivotal series are going to be happening here pretty soon. So baseball is getting to a very exciting point right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Baseball's it's the most fun part of the year. Right now, I'm just doing quick math, and let's just look at the Tigers. Or I'll look at the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have played 76 and 55. It's 131 games, essentially. Yeah, we got almost sub 30 games left, people. It's going to get real tight, these races. We're going to see more teams eliminated, more guys get shut down for the rest of the year, more teams starting to plan for next year. And, we got fall playoff baseball coming. I know it's August. It's still summertime, but it's coming soon. This season went quick. It went very quick.
It really
and we
did.
always love more baseball. Outside of that, it went so quick this year. Outside of that, Yankees 5-2, bottom 8. I'm going to go watch the rest of it. Go watch. Go Yankees. Bye.